Okay, so I am currently a missionary. I've been serving in Mexico for the last year, and this past weekend I attended a Jubilee festival, basically for the youth to get closer with God. So it was like a big retreat. So yeah, just went with the local church that I serve at, and we just went to a youth festival and traveled around another city and another part of Mexico. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. So here's the story about how it went. So basically, it started out, we went to the local church, we did some adoration in front of the Eucharist, shout out Jesus, and we had a few presentations, a few slides to talk about what we're going to do over the weekend. This is a 3-day retreat, so we had to sleep in the church, shout out Mary, we slept next to Mary, and yeah, we took a bus all the way to the other part of town, which was Chetumal. Chetumal is the capital of Quintana Roo. Quintana Roo is the state. I am serving in Playa del Carmen, so we had to travel all the way to Chetumal. It's around 6.5 hours. The bus driver was a little slow, so like 7 hours basically. And yeah, you can imagine your bro was cooked. Some of the kids took some photos of me while I was sleeping. So yeah, have to have the eye mask, gotta sleep. I'm cooked, I'm so tired. So, yep. Eventually, the second we arrived, it was literally like, we just hit the ground running. We started off with praise and worship. We sang a bunch of songs. It was all in Spanish, of course. And it was great. It was like really, really great music. Everyone was really getting up with the vibes. Again, we got like 2 hours of sleep in the church, so me and the 2 other missionaries that I was with were also feeling the sleepiness. But it's all good because we got the power of the Holy Spirit. So, yep, eventually we did some more praise and worship. People gave witnesses about their experience with God, and that was pretty cool. And yeah, it was just pretty cool. Again, it was a youth festival, a youth jubilee, so it was like mostly people in the ranges of 14-year-olds to like 17-year-olds, basically that age range. So it was just really cool to see that youth is still alive in the church, which is great. So we got to see some cool Mexican ceremonies like this one, like people dancing, and that was cool. So eventually, once it was the evening time, we had some more praise and worship, but more adoration, Eucharistic time. So in front of the Eucharist, shout out Jesus again. And it was just really beautiful, you know, like the vibes are really nice. It's like a beautiful day. And yep. And then eventually after the Eucharistic time, we had some more people give some more talks, some very inspirational speakers. Like these people should like have a TED talk. And then eventually we did some more praise and worship. But this time, this praise and worship was more with like dancing and singing and more freestyle. So again, it was really, really cool. Really, really nice. This lasted for like probably another 5 hours. In total, we probably did praise and worship for like 12 hours in total. Like these Mexicans are just like have so much energy. They love to party. They love to have a good time. And that's like one of the best things I love about serving in Mexico. Like anytime I meet a local, they're like super fun and energetic, super nice. And there is Luce, the mascot apparently of the youth or something like that, some blue-haired girl. So yeah, she was pretty cool. I can imagine the guy inside that suit, or girl, is probably like sweating a lot because it was super, super hot here. Again, we're in Mexico. It's like, I think it's like October. So yes, it was very, very hot. So yep, and then eventually we were invited to crash at a local church's place because again, we're 7 hours away. And yeah, this local church invited us in. They took us in. They gave us a whole good celebration, really nice. And yeah, it was just really nice. They gave us some food, which was really good because your boy was starving. Your boy hasn't eaten in like 12 hours, slept 2 hours. So yeah, we're feeling pretty tired. But you know what? The vibes are hitting. The Holy Spirit is with us. So we're all good. It's all good. So they give us some food, which was great. A hot meal is always awesome. Took some funny photos with the youth group that we were with the sister. And yeah, look, your boy is sleeping. Also next to Mary again. So eventually they let us crash at their church. They had like a nice little area. And they gave us some little mats, which was really, really awesome. I mean, when I first slept, I slept on the floor. And then this night, I got to sleep on my own mat, which is great. And then eventually I had class. I had online class. I teach online at like 5 in the morning, so that was great. But I got to see a nice sunrise. Then I got a delicious breakfast with some frijoles and huevitos y pan. And then eventually we just went back to another church. Then we had some more praise and worship at this other church, which was really nice. So all the other youth groups around different parts of the town just met up at this church. We had some Eucharistic time, Eucharistic adoration. And yeah, they just gave us some signs. And I think the theme is yellow. Like, I think the yellow symbolizes youth or something like that. So we were always wearing yellow and white. So we just explored the church for a little bit, and then we headed outside. Vamos afuera. So, yep, here we are outside. We're doing basically a procession around the whole town of Chetumal. And yeah, we got to see some cool stuff, some cool buildings, some cool statues. And yeah, all the locals in the town were like so like in awe and confused why we were doing this. I guess they weren't expecting like a bunch of youth people to be celebrating Jesus in the middle of like Sunday day. So yeah, it was pretty cool. I got to take some cool photos, some good memories. And yeah, it was just really nice. Again, we just kept singing, and then eventually we made it back to the campsite where we had mass, and it was just really nice. And also another sweet treat, the bishop of Quintana Roo was there. The bishop was there, so everyone was super psyched. Eventually, after mass, our bus didn't pick us up for another 4 hours because I think it got stranded. It was like had to go to a mechanics or something. So we just traveled around Chetumal. So we just did a little side quest, just seeing some stuff. And then eventually we got some food, ate some food across the street, and then we just waited for the bus. And yeah, it was just really, really nice, you know? A really, really great retreat. Got to hang out with some of my youth group friends. And yeah, it was just really awesome. A really great memory, a really great part of my mission. And yeah, I just had a really good time. I only do retreat a couple times a year, so this was a very memorable one for me, for in the books. And I got to hang out with my youth group, which is always awesome. And then eventually, a few days later, it was Saint Francisco Day, or Saint Francis Day. I think it's Francisco. It was one of the saint celebrations. So we went back to our town of Playa del Carmen. We went to the countryside and we celebrated that Saint Francisco. I think it's Saint Francisco. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, but this was like a smaller procession. So we basically just did a procession around the countryside in El Campo in Playa del Carmen, which was really nice. We had a Saint Francisco statue. And yep, we basically just went around, went to the local church in the area, and we had mass, which was very, very nice. People were shooting up fireworks, people were singing, dancing, throwing holy water. There was the priest, Father Patrick. Shout out Father Patrick. And yeah, it was just a very, very nice time, you know? I had the retreat on one weekend, then a few weekends later had this procession for St. Francisco, St. Francis. Someone let me know if I'm saying that wrong. And yeah, and then eventually, of course, there can't be a Mexican celebration without some food. So we had some tamales and some spaghetti and some other foods. And then we got to take a picture, group photo with St. Francisco as a group together with me and the two other missionaries in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. So overall, it was just a very, very good last few weeks. Yeah, and again, I finished my mission in a few weeks. So this was just a really nice time to be close with the church, be close with the youth group before I leave. So it was just a beautiful time. People were super nice, as always. Hospitality in Mexico is super big, so I hope I can continue to have experiences like these throughout my spiritual journey with Christ. All right, guys, thank you for everything. Hopefully one day you can experience something like this in the future. Adios, nos vemos.